So hi, I'm Obi Namese, and I'm here to guide you through your self-improvement journey. Today, I'm going to be talking about failure. Failure is simply just a word, and we have put so much, value or power on this word because whenever you get called a failure or you fail at something, you feel like super bad. Let's say you failed your test and your parents are on you like, why did you fail? What? That's not the correct thing to do. You better study, you better do better your next test or whatever, and you just feel like trash because you failed. But failing is not really that bad. Failing means that you attempted at something and there's room for improvement. Failure is basically an attempt that you made that was not successful. And eventually, after certain amounts of failure, you will learn from each one and improve to actually succeed. For me at volleyball, my weakness was usually receiving, and I would just fail and fail and fail over and over in training whenever I needed to receive and like pass to a setter. But now I've learned from every single failure that I've had, like at every single pass, and most of the passes I can now receive them correctly and pass them to the setter. But failure was not like, oh yeah, I failed and I won't even try anymore. And that's the problem with failure. Whenever we hear like failure, we feel like, oh yeah, I'm not trying it again because I failed at it. But that's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to keep on trying. I mentioned this in the last video, like you just gotta keep on going. But it's honestly the power we put on failure that has taken us out way too much. David Goggins mentioned it in his, what do you call it, in the Joe Rogan podcast. In one of the sessions, he says that failure is not really a bad thing, and he just explains it way better than I can. I suggest you go and listen to it. He has like 3 sessions with Joe Rogan. I'm pretty sure it's one of the first 2 sessions in which he speaks about this. But yeah, even in the gym, your goal in the gym whenever you're working out is to get to failure. There's no way failure can be a bad thing if you're training to failure. Like just 2 weeks ago, I was training with my friend. We were doing bench press, and my friend was repping out, I think it was 2 small plates, like 2 10 kilogram plates, not even, like 7.5 plates on each side, and he did like 10 reps, but it was his last set and he was supposed to go to failure. Jose, if you're listening to this, I trained you to failure. Like he was bench pressing and he was at 10 reps. He struggled on the last 2, but I knew inside of him there were 2 more reps. So I pushed the bar like from the rack and I made him do 2 more reps, even though they were kind of assisted. He reached failure due to those 2 assisted reps, and that failure is what is causing his chest to grow. Not only then, but like even when with each workout, your goal is to go to failure, and failure is the point where your muscles tear a little bit, like micro tears for it to grow. I mentioned that in the last video. I recommend you go watch it. But yeah, one of the best examples I can give you is probably that of failing in like tests at school. So I've never been like good at tests, and I've recently been like, not recently, in the past year or so, I've been failing in my math test. Not really like failing like, let's say 30 out of 100, but failing for me is like under a 70, even though it's not in the system. Like for me, it's not good enough. So I've been getting like 65, 67s, and that's what I had been getting in tests for the past year. And that really took a toll on my grades, and they were like not really the best. I got like B's. all throughout the last school year. And it was due to failing and not learning from it. So I took lessons from my failures. I used my failures as a trampoline to like go from low, all the way high up. You know how on a trampoline, when you're jumping, you start off like softly jumping. You jump like, I don't know, 2 inches, then 3, then 4. And it's like I don't know how it's called. Like it's progressive. Like it starts kind of like multiplying until it's like super high. And it's the same with failure. If you learn from your failure, you can use your failure as a trampoline to skyrocket you all the way high. Just yesterday, no, not yesterday, last week, I had my math test again, but this time I actually studied, because that's what I had not been doing the past test. I had been cocky and saying, oh yeah, I know math, I can do this all by myself without needing to study. And I did pass the test, but they were not the best scores. Just today I got the grade from last week's test, where I actually studied and had flashcards on how to do the procedures and not just like my knowledge. And I got 6 out of 7 questions correct. And the only one I got wrong is the one I didn't do the procedures for. Like I did the procedures, but I did them in my mind. And that's the only one I failed. So now I know that I can't be like taking for granted, oh yeah, I know how to do this, I'll do it in my mind. I actually need to write it on paper to make sure next time I get the 100. But yeah, essentially, like learning from your failure is what will get you up. And not only that, but like, as I already said, failure is a good thing, but it's not really that important. The important part is what you do after you fail. I could have given up after 6-7 times of getting 67, 68 on my tests and just say, oh yeah, get this out of my face, and just not do anything else about math and keep failing. But I I started like learning from it, and actually, let's say you can put it in this way, getting back up after being kicked down by the failure. And that's what you need to do. It doesn't matter how many times you fail, but how many times you actually get up and keep on going. And that goes back exactly to saying that failure means that you attempted. And eventually, as humans, we're bound to fail, because we are not perfect. The important part is what you do after you fail. If you get up, or if you just stay down, knocked out. You can let's make this image. Think that you're fighting a dude in a ring. If he knocks you out, let's say, for 5 seconds, and you still have the countdown, you have been knocked out. You're not completely conscious. Let's say you failed at fighting the dude. The important part is whether you get up and keep on trying to fight him, which I don't really suggest if you're actually in a fight. But if you failed at striking him or keeping up your defense, you get up and do it better. You learn from the mistake that got you knocked out. But yeah, that's today's suggestion, tip, or advice that I have for you. So remember, Jesus Christ loves you. He's the only way to heaven. And do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. Mwah.